dating is tough. I mean, dating's always been tough, but people nowadays say that it's especially tough, and who might argue? Expectations are high, people's lifestyles don't really align, and people are looking for something that others can't or won't give to them. But people keep coming back to the dating game, don't they? Is it the natural urge for humans to want to love and be loved, or is it just the constant excitement from emotional turmoil that keeps people coming back? I don't know. I haven't had to date in a while, but I used to be quite the hopeless romantic. Can you believe that nobody wanted to date me? Perhaps that's why I love some dating and relationship drama subreddits. They provide all the tea you could ever want without having to clean the teapot after. Today I have a collection of dating and relationship posts, memes, stories, etc., to get the scent of romance in the air. Starting us off, these are the funniest, wildest, and most wholesome posts I could find on subreddits like r/dating, r/dating advice, and r/dating over 30. Vent! I am f***ing tired of people dating but being emotionally unavailable, still talking to their ex, talking to their f***ing coworker, sketchy ass lying motherfuckers. If you are entangled with anyone at the moment, then why go on a fresh date with a person who is trying to genuinely know you? Finish your sketchy shit and then go on a date, but no! Thank you for your insight, OCD whore. My boyfriend talks to me in my sleep. He's a bit shy and doesn't express love verbally when I'm awake. We always take naps together. The other day, for some reason, I decided to fake sleep. 30 minutes into our nap, he checked to make sure I was asleep by saying, "I love you," 2 times. When I didn't respond, which made me feel terrible, he started humming. I've never heard him hum before. He doesn't sing either, so it made me very happy. When he started humming, I would wiggle and he would start again. After a while, he stopped and I pretended to be in a deep sleep. He said, "I love you," one more time just to make sure. Then he started talking. It was small at first, like, "You're so cute," and "I love snuggling with you." He then went into detail about all the things he loves about me, like my arms, or my hair, or my face. He started talking about how happy I make him, and then out of the blue said, "I'm going to marry you." I tried to contain my smile. He started going into details of all the things our house is going to have, like cats and a greenhouse where I'll have pretty flowers and a garden. It made me so happy that I started tearing up. Now I fake sleep all the time to hear him talk about things he's too scared to tell me when I'm awake. I love him. This is a very sweet story, but it's also, at the end there, it gets a little bit weird because it's like, okay, why are you continuing to fake sleep? Like, this is a cute story if it happened one-off, but then she's just like, "I'm going to get him to tell me all his deepest, darkest secrets because he thinks I'm in dreamland." Like, what? It feels like a dysfunctional way to communicate with your partner if that's the only way that you can get this kind of love language that you want. I just got dumped because I like corn in my spaghetti? The title really says it all. I've been talking to this guy for about 2 months. I randomly told him that I like corn in my spaghetti and kind of teased him to try it. He circled back around like 5 minutes later that it really bothered him. "Hey, I'm real pissed about that corn thing you said to me." He then goes on to say if he worked tirelessly on a meal to cook me, he would be extremely offended if I soiled my gourmet meal with corn in it. He would genie be pissed. Ruined your gourmet meal? Dog, it's you're throwing in some dry spaghetti into boiling water. That's not exactly Michelin star territory. Like, let the girl have some corn. At this point, I'm pretty weirded out at how all this is unfolding, which you should, because this guy's insane. At this point, I'm pretty weirded out how this is unfolding, but offered that I make spaghetti and I'll just add corn to mine. He said I didn't get it, and then went on to discuss my shit-tasted books. Okay, this is how we're actually getting into the crux of the issue, because this is not about the corn. This guy is just like, "Oh, I hate everything about you." I told him that this is going to take me a minute to process. I'm gonna have to call him back. He dumped me via text. So that's the story of how I got dumped because I like corn in my spaghetti. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really see the corn and spaghetti thing. I'm kind of doing the I think it'd be fine. I don't think it would really enhance the spaghetti in any way. It's kind of like you're playing two different games is the problem, because you'd get your fork full of spaghetti, you'd spin it up, and then there's how do you get the corn on the same fork? You'd have to do them separately. You'd get spaghetti mouthful, and then you'd get corn mouthful, and those would be fine, but they'd be separate. There's not a big enough thing to break up over, so this guy's insane. Even the most effortless of relationships still take compromise and communication, especially when you live together. Being in close proximity to anyone will make their little quirks and idiosyncrasies really start to grate on you, like when you have a little rock in your shoe. And then that rock eats the last cookie, even though I clearly said that I wanted the last cookie. Regardless, you need to compromise with that rock in order to get into that little space that's under the arch of your toes where you can have a smooth walk. I feel like this analogy is getting away from me a little bit. The point is that people are weird, and once they're in a relationship for a long time, they start gathering stories and memes about each other that we all can benefit from. These silly and often dysfunctional posts come from places like r/relationship memes, r/couple memes, and a couple stories from r/best of Redditor updates. Instagram, look at my new boyfriend. Twitter, I can't get a boyfriend. Reddit, my 21 female, boyfriend, 53 male, boyfriend forbids me from going into the basement and has a sock drawer full of missing women's driver's license. Am I the asshole for being uncomfortable? The wedding is in 3 hours. That is absolutely a summary of all these Redditor stories where you're just like, just think about it. You wrote it all down, and for some reason you didn't think about any of the words that you just wrote down. My boyfriend is so cute. He bought me Starbucks while I dye my hair. Went to Area 51, got me my alien. Me thinks boyfriend is mad because he's being very quiet. Me, what you thinking about? Him, about how bike tires are made. Huh? Ladies, we gotta stop worrying what boys are thinking because 9 out of 10 times it's dumb shit like this. Am I overreacting? She shit with me in the shower. Hello, long-time lurker, first-time poster. Throw away, cause I don't want this affiliated with my main. I, female 22, has been dating this girl, female 21, for about 3 months, and it's been great. The only red flag I've seen before this was she was a bit messy, leaving things without putting them away, including trash. Anyway, yesterday we went to a karaoke club, got super wasted, and she spilled her drink all over us. No big deal, we went to my apartment. We were in the shower, nothing sexy or anything, we were too drunk for that, but I remember looking down and there was a streak on the bottom of the shower and I asked her what it was. I shit you not, she said, oopsie, I did a poopsie, and pushed a ball of shit into the drain with her toe. Puking emoji, the most appropriate puking emoji ever. Yuck! I didn't even know what to say. I just kind of stood there. This chick really just pooped. This chick really just pooped. This bitch over here pooping in my shower. I told myself that she was drunk and we could talk about it today, when this post was posted. Fast forward to this morning. We woke up. I could not get what I saw yesterday out of my head, so I tried to keep it light and laugh about the pooping. Maybe try to get into the toilet in the future. And she goes on to explain that she just feels comfortable with me and doesn't want to hide who she is anymore. I asked if she poops in the shower all the time. She does? I asked if she could refrain from doing it in my shower and she agreed. I just feel like I can't move past this and look at her the same and kind of want to break up with her. Am I overreacting? You are not overreacting because this is absolutely insane behavior. You cannot shit in somebody else's shower and be like, what? This is who I am. What do you mean it's who you are? Shower showers are weird. Like, okay, you can have a discussion about pissing in the shower. Pooping in the shower is not the same thing because you gotta actually do some physical force in order to get it down the drain. That's not how toilets should work. That's not how anything you poop in should work. So don't do that. That's just gross. My 24 female boyfriend, 30 male, keeps disappearing into the bathroom for an hour or more with a stick of butter, and the butter is gone when he finally comes out. I've been dating my boyfriend for 2 years and we finally moved in together. Ever since we moved in, I have seen a new side of him. It's a very odd issue and I can't wrap my head around what to do. At first I started to notice butter was disappearing quickly. I assumed maybe I lost track of how much we had, or maybe he was cooking when I wasn't around. I don't know. But one night a few weeks ago, I saw him trying to stealthily take a stick of butter from the fridge, which I pretended not to notice, and he took the butter with him into the bathroom. Now I've noticed my boyfriend spending an hour or more of time in the bathroom since we moved in, but I never saw him take the butter before. I was so confused. When he came out of the bathroom about an hour later, I saw no sign of the butter, but I also saw he did not put the butter back in the fridge. It was gone. I'm gonna come in at this point and say, I'm happy that he didn't put it back in the fridge, because that's worst case scenario. No matter what, worst case scenario is him bringing it to the bathroom for an hour and then putting it back and be like, there. We're gonna have some great times later. Like, that's real. I tried to subtly keep an eye on him over a week. He did this 3 separate times, and each time a stick of butter disappeared. Finally, I said one day, where did all our butter go? I hardly used any this week and it's gone. He pretended to not know and said maybe we had forgot to buy it. I said no, we had 4 sticks of butter before, now they are gone. He just acted like it was a mystery and said, guess we should order up some groceries. By now I was getting very confused, so I ordered groceries and made a point of saying, good to finally have 4 sticks of butter, this should last us quite a while. He made no comment. On the first 2 days, whenever I used a small amount of butter, I would remark about how much butter we had left. Finally, one day I saw him do it again. He took a stick of butter into the bathroom, was gone for an hour or so, and came back with no butter. I couldn't believe it. So when I made dinner, I acted shocked that 1 stick of butter was gone. He said, maybe we only had 3. I was so confused. Yeah, I'm confused too, dude. Like, also, he's lying at this point. Like, he was like, whoa, we must have gotten 3 sticks of butter. Like, he's trying to gaslight her in a really weird way when she's like, nah, bitch, I know exactly how much butter we had. I've been making a point of saying how much butter we got. Finally, this time, when he came out, I said, I know he has been taking butter into the bathroom. He got all flustered and said, I must be mistaken. But I said I had literally seen him take the butter into the bathroom. He then started apologizing for misleading me, but said, let's just not talk about it. He asked me to promise him to never ask about his butter activities again and to just put it behind us. He said, just look at the other way on this one thing. That's not... You can't do this, bro. You can't do that. You can't be like, you're gonna have to chalk this up to a mystery. Am I overreacting? It's just so odd. I see him in a different light and I'm not sure what to do. Should I just ignore it? Don't ignore it. Please don't ignore it. There is an update, although she doesn't specify what he's doing with the butter other than that it is, quote, extremely sensual, and that his college friends found the post and said, lol, this must be about you? Which means his college friends knew about the butter thing too? We may not know what he's doing with the butter, but we do know it will probably spell the end of his relationship. I forgot my BS phone was dead, so when he went to the bathroom, I decided to roam around Walmart. About 20 minutes later, I hear, Alyssa Stockton, your child is at register 10. I walk over there and there he is, my boyfriend, sitting there on the bench, pouting that I left him. I feel like every man has had that moment when they're shopping with their significant other and they're just like, where'd they go? Where'd they go? Help! Help! Camouflaging myself to turn off my husband's game. This is... She's really committing to this. Oh, just go. Yep. Do. I don't know how he didn't see that, but he's really locked into his game and... off. He's like, oh, what? Huh? You gonna notice, dude? To buffer a little bit. I'm gonna be honest, if my girlfriend did this to me, I hope I wouldn't like accidentally punch her or something. Like, oh, instinct punch. Relationships like this are the only time you can do bullshit like this, because if you try to do that to a roommate, guess what? Restraining order. I, a 23 female, created a 1-to-1 scale puppet version of my boyfriend, 22 male, and showed it to him during foreplay as a joke. Now he hasn't texted me in 12 hours, and I'm starting to get worried. How do I get him to text me back? The title pretty much says it all, but here's some more details. My boyfriend of 6 months and I have a pretty cut and dry relationship up to this point. I've always been what some people might call quirky, so pranks are sorta my bread and butter. He, John, has expressed that he really likes this part of me, and I'm just happy to be with someone who can handle all of my zest, lol. Sometimes I worry that he doesn't actually think I'm funny, as he says, but he always reassures me that that's not the case. One of the ways we really like to express our humor to each other is in the bedroom. For example, I love to do impressions of mostly Disney characters, such as the paperwork lady from Monsters Inc. Haha, so... I'm sorry, how are you fitting in the paperwork lady from Monsters Inc.? Hey, the slug lady? You're being the slug lady? That's your... That's insane. He sometimes does them too, but he's not that good at voices. So here's where I think I may have taken it too far. I recently bought a sewing machine to try and make cosplay costumes and stuff, but something dawned on me as I was messing around with it. This was the plan. We oftentimes sexy times with a habitual back rub massage sort of thing, and we switch off. And then we progress into French kissing and then full-blown you know what. One very important fact to tell you is that John does in fact wear glasses, so I will usually make a point to take them off and put them on the table for safety. During this particular romp in the hay, I got a really funny idea about how to take his glasses off next time, and I couldn't stop laughing. He asked what I was laughing about because he has some insecurity about his appearance, but I assured him that it was nothing like that. We had our fun and John went home, but all I could think about was this plan. So the next day I went to the fabric store and bought a bunch of skin-colored felt and wire framing and cotton and got to work creating a Muppet-style version of my boyfriend to put his glasses on the next time we started getting dirty style. Honestly, the thing was looking pretty good, and I even found some clothes at Goodwill that were his style. I dressed the Muppet in his clothes, hid them under my collection of Squishmallows that's in my room, and invited him over. To spare you all the explicit details, we did start kissing and taking clothes off and stuff, but my hands were shaking as I reached up to grab his glasses. Instead of putting it on my nightstand, I made a point to say something like, "I'm gonna put these right here," as I stretched over to the Squishmallow that was covering the puppet boyfriend's head and put the glasses right over his felt eyes. He got confused, I think, and looked to where I put the glasses and sat up, as a felt version of his face, very easily identifiable by the way. John has red hair and a mustache, so the glasses on top left little question as who this could be. He was silent for a second, then said, "Is that supposed to be me?" As I laughed. I said something like, "Do you like it?" as I took it out of the Squishmallow pile and revealed the entirety of Muppet John. "Oh, did you make that?" he asked, and I stood it up off the bed and asked him to stand next to it. "See? It's just like you, basically," I said, but he still wasn't laughing that much. I think he saw that the Muppet ended up being a little bit taller than him. He's 5'7" and probably insecure about that. The Muppet ended up accidentally being a little taller than him, around 6'1" based on seeing them side by side. That is not a small difference. Like if you were like, oh, it's like 5'8", 5'9", that'd be maybe a little bit different, but it's like, that's a whole half a foot. That's a full half a foot of difference, and that counts to some guys. Okay, at this point, I have to show you Muppet John because OP did post a picture of Muppet John, and holy shit, it's rough. It's pretty bad. Like, if somebody showed me a puppet version of me that looked like this, I'd be like, is that how you view me? Like, do my eyes bulge out of my head? Like, what is this? But we're gonna see how John takes it. I noticed his disappointment and did a tried and true Disney impression to make him feel better. In my best Goofy impression, I said, "Well, looks like we should call him Big John, yuck." John just took his glasses off of Big John and let him fall to the floor, and put the glasses on the nightstand and sat on the bed for a while, but we eventually went to Sin City, but it was a lot more quiet than usual. He left after that, even though we were planning on having a sleepover. He said he wasn't feeling good. I texted him goodnight and went to bed. So here's the ish. This morning I haven't gotten any good morning text or any texts at all from him. Even though he always sends me a good morning text, I'm worried that Big John was a step too far and that normal John didn't think the joke was as funny as I did. I feel like he's just putting me in an uncomfortable position by not telling me how this made him really feel, even though I thought it was pretty funny. Is this salvageable or am I effed? I read the title thinking, oh, that's a cute toy, thinking teddy bear size, then reread the scale. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but it can come off as creepy AF. OMG, me too. I thought it was a cute little doll replica of her boyfriend, but it was an actual life-size look-alike hidden under a pile of toys. So creepy. Girl, WTF is this? Update. But here's what happened in the last week. So it's been a wild couple of days or so, and I've been honestly a little depressed at the negative reaction from everyone. After my BF, John, left after we did the no pants dance in front of the puppet. Why are you just say you had sex, stop saying all these different ways because it makes it weirder. It makes it like more puerile, and I hate it. I hate it. He didn't text me for like a day and a half. I was really starting to get worried and believed some of the comments that I was a serial killer. I was drawing when my phone buzzed and I saw it was finally John. All it said was, "Hey, can we talk?" I was super nervous and he came over to my place. It was awkward at first because it was been so long since we saw or talked to each other, and I honestly thought things were gonna end, especially after reading all the comments. However, he apologized for his behavior and told me something that cleared things up. So apparently his mom has been cheating on his dad with multiple younger men for years, and he and his dad had just found out the other day, the day I made Big John. He wasn't upset about Big John at all. I could tell he was still upset, and my instincts were saying I should do a Disney voice, but I considered the comments from the last post and decided just to say, "I'm sorry that happened to you. I hope your family is okay." Good, that's follow those instincts. Then, the most surprising part, he said, "I'm sorry too," and then in his adorably not very good singing voice saying, "Big John never bothered me anyway. I have something for him actually," and brought out one of his favorite slap bracelets that his mom got him as a kid. He pulled me into a hug and we danced like we were Cinderella and Prince Charming boyfriend. He tried to dip me, but he's not very strong, so it created a funny moment where we kissed and then he led me to my royal suite. And well, you could probably guess the rest. Okay, I feel really bad for John because he keeps catching strays. Like, she's just like, he's not tall, he's not very strong, yeah, he looks like a bulging-eyed Muppet Man, and I thought it looked exactly like him. Like, that's poor John. We got on the bed and normal John had some smears on his glasses after kissing. He asked if there was anywhere or anyone that he could put these on. I brought out Big John and his hand fell off, but it was like a fairy tale romance when normal John placed the glasses on Big John's cute nose. So for now, it seems like a happy ending. I mean, good for them, good for John. Like, it's really his decision to make about how he feels about this because it's his relationship. We're just onlookers looking in. I hope you enjoyed this dalliance into the more romantic side of Reddit. If you want to see more content like this, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you who's watching this right now. You can help me out by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Send it to some friends. That would also help. Oh, and check out my podcast segment city. Here's a little clip. Hot diggity dog! Wienermobiles put on riveting race in Weenie 500 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And now I gotta send you the image of it.
I didn't know I was a fan until this very moment, but the Weenie 500 is my new personality.
And if you're ever going through a tough spot in your own romantic relationships, just remember the old piece of Reddit advice. Hit the gym, delete Facebook, and hire a lawyer.